Bonjour to welcome back to our channel. Today we are taking you to Musée Lambinet. So, on y va.
Today we're in Versailles, but not at the famous chateau. We find ourselves inside a beautiful 18th century Hôtel Particulier on Boulevard de la Reine, or Queen's Boulevard.
Musée Lambinet is today a museum of the city of Versailles that has been open to public since 1932 and was recently restored and reopened in December of 2022. Today, its collections are focused on the art and the history of the royal city.
The building we're in was built in 1751 on the order of Jean-Baptiste Porcelain, who was the contractor of the king's buildings at the time. The style is pure Recored, or also known as Louis XV, and it was at the height of fashion back then.
The ground and the first floors of the museum contain several reconstructed halls that immerse visitors into the time of 17th, 18th and 19th centuries, including the Grand Salon of the famous Parisian actress at La Comédie Française, Julia Barthe, that was acquired by the museum in 1942. In 1852, the building was acquired by Victor Lambinet, magistrate at the court of Versailles, who chose not to live in this mansion but converted into several apartments he would later rent out.
It was only after his death, and that of his wife Anaïs Caroline, that the hotel became the residence of a single family, that of his son Victor Félicien Lambinet and his wife Nathalie Clarisse Sinclair, with their son Pierre Félicien. On the first floor, we are met with the Bourgeois apartment of the 18th century. It must be highlighted that this is not a royal, but a bourgeois apartment of a rich Versailles family of the time of Louis XV and Louis XVI.
Each room is filled with precious furniture and other objects of the epoch. Victor passed away in 1908 and their son prematurely in 1911, leaving Nathalie alone in the property until her passing in 1926. She would leave the property to the city at the condition of it becoming a museum.
It should be noted that the city's museum actually existed way prior to 1932, at a different location. It consisted of the objects of art that Versailles scholars had bequeathed to the municipal library at the same time as their collections of rare books.
After redevelopment of Hôtel Lambinet into a museum, the city of Versailles transferred its municipal collections here and in 1932 opened its doors to the public.
The visit further continues through the halls, full of paintings, sculptures, and precious objects.
Here, some of the works include bouquets of flowers in Vincennes porcelain and vases of Sèvres, sculptures by Jean-Antoine Houdon, paintings by Pierre Mignon, Nicolas Bertin, Carl Van Loo, and many precious objects such as jewelry, fans, candy boxes, eggs, and a beautiful collection of clocks.
The second and the last floor of the museum is consecrated to the history of Versailles and the French Revolution. This was where we spent the most time as the collection is immensely significant.
Visitors are taken on a historic recount from the origins of Versailles, the village, and the chateau itself. Here, you can see the surprise eggs offered to the daughters of Louis XV for Easter, church bells with the fleur-de-lis, and many paintings depicting Versailles, as well as the manufacture of toile de juillet, a place we took you to a couple of years back.
Versailles was the center of the revolution, so naturally an important collection of related objects is displayed here. Among them, a speech of Louis XVI to the États Généraux printed on a silk, a set of paintings related to Marat and Charlotte Corday, and the trial of the latter depicted in a relief carved into an ivory egg.
The paintings of the royal family are particularly interesting as they depict them after their arrest, including the famous painting of Louis XVII in the prison of Temple by Antoine Vestier.
I spent particularly long time in front of this painting by Jules-Alfred Vincent Richaud that depicts the heroic act of the mayor of Versailles, Hyacinthe Richaud, on September 9, 1792, where a convoy of 52 prisoners transferred from Orléans prison under the leadership of Marseille and Parisian National Guards, led by Claude Fournier l'Héritier, known as the Fournier the American, passed through Versailles on the way to Paris, where they were to be tried.
An aggressive crowd awaited them at the Cat-Born crossroad, The mayor of Versailles, Hyacinthe Richaud, exposed his own life to prevent Innie's crime. Dressed in a tricolour scarf, he rushed to the prisoners to try and save their lives, who clung to him in hopes to survive.
He shouted at the crowd, "What? You must be the defenders of the law, and you want to dishonor yourself. It's not these prisoners that interest me the most. It's you. It's your honor." Unfortunately, his efforts were in vain. The crowd executed 44 of these prisoners, including Louis Hercule Timoleon de Cossé-Brissac, commander-in-chief of the Constitutional Guard of King Louis XVI, Charles-Xavier de Franqueville-d'Abancourt, Minister of War in 1792, Claude-Antoine de Waldeck de Lessart, former Minister of the Interior and then of Foreign Affairs in 1791, and Jean Arnaud de Castellane, Count Bishop of Gévaudan.
Only 8 prisoners would manage to escape, while the heads of the massacred were cut and impaled on the gates of Versailles. Today, there is a street named after him, Rue Richaud, and a plaque is present nearby at the place where the mayor risked his life trying to save the prisoners from the maddening crowd.
The history is further told with the art objects, paintings, and even a collection of weapons that were given out under Napoleon I as reward weapons to stimulate the bravery of his men.
Completing the collection are artworks recording the history of Versailles at a later time, providing a closer look at the city in the more recent parts of history.
Can I just say this museum is absolutely incredible because it's supposed to be just the city museum, but considering that Versailles itself has such rich history when it comes to, France in general, I didn't expect it to be 3 floors. So it covers everything, the Ancien Regime, the Revolution, the First Empire, the Second Empire, all the way into 20th century. You've got amazing paintings, but you also learn a lot, and there are private collections that were donated to the museum. I love it. I think it's such a hidden gem. When you come to Versailles, I would say you should definitely pass by to learn and to see more. It's great.
I love the interior design. My favorite part was the room where they showcase precious objects. I love it. I think if you are passing by Chateau de Versailles, you should definitely pass by here as well.
You know what I love about Versailles is that the buildings here, the color that they use for the facade, it's not as pale and white as we have in Paris. Here it's a little bit more orange and peachy color. It's just so lovely. Again, every city has its own trick, has its own thingy, signature. Here it's this color. In Paris it's more yellow, pale. In Nantes and Saumur, it's even lighter, bright white.
Thank you for joining us. Hope you liked this episode as much as we did. If you liked this episode, please don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Until the next one, au revoir.